In this video, we will learn how to create a purchase using 4 steps. That is quotation inquiry, proforma invoice, purchase order, and goods received note. Let's start with the quotation inquiry. When you want to purchase stocks from suppliers, you may want to send a quotation inquiry to them. The inquiry requests suppliers for a quote for the items you want to buy. Once you receive the quote, you can log in the supplier's name and the respective price quotation for the items in the proforma invoice. From the log, you can choose the best offer that you got for the items you want to buy and place a purchase order. This is the step in which you make the purchase for the items. Then, when the stock reaches your premises, you generate a goods received note, stating that the supplies have been received successfully. So let's first take a look at how to create a quotation inquiry. Click on this button. Click on the Add button. You must choose a tax type here. If the items are tax exclusive, then you can choose this, which means that a tax will be added in addition to the base price. The tax inclusive purchase type means that the final amount will contain the tax within itself. For this purchase, let's proceed with tax exclusive. Click on Save. This is the quotation inquiry window. First, select a supplier. If the items are a supplier-based item, then check this box. Supplier-based item refers to items that you purchase only from a particular supplier. So you may have a specific supplier from whom you purchase select items. In that case, check this supplier-based item box. Otherwise, you can uncheck it if you don't have supplier-based items. Then, choose the valid up to date. This represents the date up to which the quotation will be valid. Here, select an item. I'll select 3 roses. After that, choose a package, enter the quantity, and click on Add. You can add more items if you want to. So I'm also going to add Kellogg's cornflakes. 10 of this item and add. Here are 2 items. If you look at the delivery mode, there are 3 options here. On availability gives the supplier the convenience to deliver these items whenever they want to. Then, there's as soon as possible. This option expedites the delivery of items to your store. The last option is on date. If you choose this option, you will have to specify the date on which you want to receive the items. Let's proceed by choosing on availability, which means that the supplier gets to deliver the items whenever they want to. Then, you can add remarks. If you want to specify any terms and conditions, you can select it here. Once everything is filled out here, go ahead and click on Save and Close. The quotation inquiry is saved. The next step is to create a proforma invoice. You will need to select a quotation in order to create a proforma invoice. The quotation from the supplier must be logged into the system. This way, you can compare quotations from different suppliers. Let's consider this as a quotation. Now go to Proforma Invoice and click on Add. We'll proceed with Tax Exclusive. Here, select the supplier. Choose a valid up-to-date for this invoice. In this part, you can either create a proforma invoice on your own without referring to the quotation inquiry, or you can refer to the quotation inquiry that we just created. By doing the latter, the items will be loaded here automatically. If it's a direct proforma invoice, you will have to add the items manually, one by one, and then enter a cost. Or, you can refer to the quotation inquiry. Let's proceed by referring to it. Next, choose an inquiry number. You will have to choose the right supplier in order to load up and get the inquiry number. As you can see, the items have been loaded automatically. Here, the rate values determine the cost price you have given to these items. If you want to edit these values, click on this button. Now you can edit this rate. This is useful when suppliers change the price of items. Let's say the supplier has increased this item's cost to 210.31. After changing it, click on Update. If the cost price remains the same as before, then you can leave this rate value as it is. This is the total amount and this is the base price. On top of that, this GST percentage will be added. All of this sums up to the total amount as this is tax exclusive. Here, select the delivery date. Enter a transportation cost. Then, the tax percentage for transportation. Once you fill up all of these details, the net amount will automatically change. You get the updated net amount. Next, you can also add remarks to this invoice if you want to. Finally, click on Save and Close. Here you see that the proforma invoice is created. Now you can move on to making a purchase. Once you're satisfied with the price here, click on Purchase Order. Click on Add. We'll proceed with the same tax type. Here you have to select the supplier again. Then, select the valid up to date. Over here, you can create an entirely new purchase order. You can do this without having to refer to a previous quotation inquiry or proforma invoice. However, you also have the option to refer to a quotation inquiry or proforma invoice or even a purchase order that has been closed. Since we are going step by step, I'm going to refer to the proforma invoice. Choose the proforma invoice number here. The items load up automatically, along with the gross amount, net amount, and other details. Here you can load in terms and conditions. Then you can enter some remarks. After that, you can add in the transportation cost. You can change the delivery mode, and if there's any extra miscellaneous cost, you can add that in here. Give it a final check and then click on Save and Close. The purchase order has been created. Now you have to focus on changing the order status. Once the purchase order is created, it is the purchase manager's responsibility to change the status of the order. The manager has to go through the entire purchase order. That includes reviewing the prices and the items. On going through the details in this window, they can choose to approve the purchase order. You will be able to go to the next step only when the order is approved. Once it is approved, click on Save and Close. Since it is approved now, you can move on to the next step, which is Goods Received Note. So after creating and sending the purchase order to the supplier, they will send you the requested stock. Once you receive the stock, you will need to create a GRN. To do that, click on Add. Select the correct supplier. Then I'm going to select Pending PO because I am referring to the purchase order. If you want to create a direct GRN, check the All Supplier field. Since I'm referring to the purchase order, I'll select Pending PO. Select the name of the supplier and then the purchase order number. As soon as I select this, everything gets loaded. You can add or modify the details here. You can add in some remarks, transportation cost, and then you can edit the other amount too. Finally, click on Save and Close. The GRN is created. After performing this step, the stock of this particular item will increase. At any point of creating the purchase, whether it's quotation inquiry, proforma invoice, purchase order, or GRN, you have the option of printing the invoice. By clicking on this button, You can preview the receipt and print it.